Welcome to Mavs Sports Take. It is episode 64, brought to you by One Institution. Thank you all so much for joining us live here, where we are the unmuzzled sports talk. A lot of the things that you hear about in the sports world, a lot that you do not, focusing solely on the business of sports. We are live, of course, so we would like to thank you for joining us. And if you could like, share, subscribe, and rate this podcast, if you are listening on your favorite podcasting platform, we would very much appreciate that. On today's show, we have Mr. Mike Riddleman hopping on with me to talk some College Gridiron Showcase doings, happenings, so less than 60 days away. And then I'll be taking some NFL draft questions as well in the second half of the show. Before we begin, would you be a parent of a high school athlete trying to make it to the next level? If you answered yes, then why not secure coaching from an expert? Here at Maverick Sports Consulting, we work with high school athletes of all sports to create a strategy for the recruiting process. With limited scholarships given each and every year, having a pointed recruiting plan helps our clients secure their opportunities to play collegiate sports. Focus on the transcripts, the film, leadership, and more to get your goals set and create pathways to get to them. Whether you're looking to attend an SEC school or Slippery Rock University, we can support your efforts to get to those goals for 2022. Contact us today at mavericksportsconsulting.com. Mike, brought you on, and you notice a part of that ad read was Slippery Rock University. That was actually not a poke at you. That was just what was in the ad. So I swear I was not making fun of you there, even though
I believe you this time, Ryan. I believe you this time.
I know you're a big PA guy, so whenever we could slip the rock in there, we got to slip it in there.
You know what? It's not even my alma mater. It's my wife's alma mater. So
Really?
Yes.
What's the mascot of Slippery Rock? I don't even know that.
It's a lion because they call it Rock Pride. I know I don't understand that, but
it's very cliche. Cliche. I like it though. And Mark, honestly, kidding aside for a second, thank you so much for joining me. As always, I really do appreciate it, because I had you on a couple months ago, right? We were kind of just talking about the history of the College Gridiron Showcase and your obviously role with it, you being the director of scouting and player personnel for the event. We had you on the live earlier today on the Twitter Spaces, and did you say it was your fifth College Gridiron Showcase?
This will be my sixth, I believe.
This will be your sixth one. Okay, it's your sixth one.
Could be wrong.
So Mike,
yeah.
So let me ask you, we're obviously now in November here, where the scouting process has taken an epic leap to now invites are out. We're trying to fill out the board. Looking back on your role with the event over the last couple of years and how you feel like it has evolved from the scouting perspective, what do you feel like are some of the biggest differences, and what are some things that you would say have kind of just stayed the same throughout the process that's been consistent?
Yeah, so I first and foremost, I want to say that the difference in a good way is we've brought great people on our scouting team. Yourself, Gino Camilleri, Michael Shotney, Jason Tabbitt, to name a few. Jose and Craig, are the two co-founders. I mean, it's a team effort. It really is a team effort, and every week we get on the call, we discuss it. We're trying to bring in 300 to 400 players, good quality players to get a look at. What has stayed the same, I think, is our, what our bread and butter is, that 4th through 7th round undrafted free agent type of player. I mean, we're trying to give those guys a look, an opportunity. Those, sleeper guys, if you say so much. I mean, those guys who are on the radar, move the needle a little bit. So I think that's where we still keep our quality at, and our value and our core values of the event.
Yeah, and I think that's what's really stuck out to me, obviously working. And I try to be as comprehensive as possible. So, I mean, my goal for this draft cycle is 300 to 350 scouting reports, because I want to kind of get as many players and as in-depth as I possibly can. For me, Mike, and I would love your comment on this, I think that's what's the most rewarding and positive part about working with the College Gridiron Showcase is, like, people act like they are grinders, right? And they act like they know the draft class in and out. But when we're doing the work on these guys that were, like, honestly, the scouts make their money on day 3. So when we're talking about finding those guys, and we're talking about really looking deep into the class and going, I mean, 400 or 500 deep, I would say is a pretty safe, assessment on that. How rewarding is it for you? Because I think it's the biggest thing for me is the fact that, like, when people say, like, oh, you really do know this class, I think I really do, because I have really, in my opinion, done the homework to try to find those quote unquote hidden gems.
Right. The biggest and best thing about CGS is we're here for the athletes. We're here for the kids, and it's rewarding to see them get an opportunity, whether it be drafted, undrafted free agent contract, mini camp, rookie invite, whatever it is. It's an opportunity, whether it be at the NFL, CFL, indoor league, arena league, whatever. But it's an opportunity they didn't have before. It's giving NFL and CFL teams information on these prospects that they might not have had the opportunity to. So it's the opportunity to be helping in every way, which way or form. We do our homework. We try to do our homework. I mean, you can only watch so much film. You can only read so many reports and all that. But when you have a great team like we do, and you can attest to this, Ryan, you're part of the team. We're very the communication's on par, and it's great to see. It's a great team effort, and it's grown ever since.
And I know, so kind of for some context, we always have our scouting meetings Thursday night. If Mike would just stick to football, we would get out of there a lot quicker. But it just kind of drove on a little bit there.
Oh man, that was a gut punch right there, Ryan. So no, it's I'm not the one trying to stick to the topic for the most part. But anyway, no, it's like I said, it's a great team effort. Our group is awesome. Our board is developing nicely, and I'm excited, and I'm sure you are too, Ryan. Your first year coming to CGS and being a part of it, so it'll be exciting, and hope anyone can come down. Draft media, coaches, whatever, just to watch the event. I mean, it's grown, and we got a lot of exciting things going on.
Yeah, and that's something that I'm really looking forward to, is obviously getting down there. And like you said, we want to kind of make this the hub of draft media, of media in general. Come down. We have 300 to 400 players that are there, whether you are a local media, if somebody working for the college program, or whether you are national media. I think that there's a lot of value that comes out of it. What is it like down there, Mike? Because we're talking Dallas, Fort Worth, obviously a major city. What is there to go do down there, man? What are some of your favorite pastimes during CGS week?
Oh man, it's football nuts heaven, so to speak. Talk with coaches, talk with athletes, talk with the agents down there. Kind of mosey around, talk with the teams. Great thing. The barbecue. The barbecue is awesome, and my wife came down last year, and we had a chance to eat some good barbecue. But no, like I said, going back to the football nut stream, just being able to talk ball, learn. I think in the sport of football, whether you're a coach, media, personnel person, is be able to learn from other people. If you're not learning, you're not growing. So I always try to grow and learn something new when I come down to CGS.
And I think that's one of the lost parts about scouting, is I feel like some older scouts, and I'm not throwing shade at anybody, but some of them kind of get set in their ways, and they kind of just see the game the way that they had known it. But the game is ever evolving. Defensively, offensively, it is changing. And I feel like the best evaluators kind of change with the times, I would say. So kind of the last couple things I wanted to ask you before I get out of here, Mike. Again, appreciate it.
Ask away, Ryan. I'm here all day for you.
Oh, all day, are you? So you'll be here until 9:00 tonight on this stream? Is that what you're going to do?
if you need be, are you feeding me or what?
Well, I'm not going out. I'm not going near Pittsburgh. I don't like it out there. So
wow.
Sorry. I'm not doing that. So I think the other angle, we talked about 300 to 400 players that will be down there. Obviously, it is going to be swamped outside of media, also with. Sorry, someone just threw something at me. We're live here on Mad Sports Takes. So if I almost get hit by a Hershey Kiss, that apparently almost happened. So I'm sorry. It just threw me off a little bit. So aside from the 300 to 400 players that come out to the College Gridiron Showcase, we're also talking about, obviously, coaches, both at the events and for the evaluation process. We're talking about scouts. We're talking about agents. How has that pool grown from you over the years? Because I think like the first year we were probably there, you're like, oh, I had this small list of like agents that I'm talking to, and I'm sure that has exponentially grown into a chasm. Is that the right word? Chasm of knowledge and contact information.
You know what? I try to network with everyone. Try to introduce myself to everyone: agents, coaches, director of player personnels. Just make them aware of who we are at CGS. And I like to think I'm a personable guy. So, I mean, heck, you met me, so it's look how we've grown as a relationship right there. Yeah.
I'm a very easy person to get along with if you didn't know. So
Yeah. But anyway, I mean, just networking, being able to say, okay, this is what we provide, this is how we run the event. And you know, uh it's been awesome. Even with the other all-star games, talking with Jim Nagy of the Senior Bowl, Eric Galco of the Shrine, Dane Vandernet of the PA, talking with those guys, just are you paying attention, Ryan?
I'm sorry. I am. I promise. I really am. People in the background. This is what happens when you do a live show. Sometimes people try to interrupt your train of thought and to mess you up. So I am listening to every word you said. Jim Nagy, Eric Galco. I'm listening, sir. Go ahead.
And Dane over the NFLPA and talking with them. So it's been awesome to be in the role I've been in, and then Jose and Craig have done so much as mentors for me, teaching me a lot of the stuff, and then it's been good. And then being able to meet people like you, Ryan, your smiling face every single day, who's laughing a mile a minute right now on a live podcast.
Well, I'm always in a good mood if you haven't noticed that as well. So last thing I will ask, I'm sorry. I really apologize because I really do value your time. Last thing I would ask is we're less than 60 days away, obviously, from the event. First and foremost, how excited are you? And I think the second layer to that would be the fact that, it's getting real here. How has the sleep schedule been for you, trying to figure out the roster of this game, kind of everything that is revolving around putting this game on?
Yeah, it's sleep is rare usually around this time. From like 5 o'clock in the afternoon until about 11 o'clock at night, usually taking phone calls, chatting with agents, players, coaches. I'm actually getting ready. I'm actually painting a nursery right now. My wife and I are expecting our first child in March, so add that on top. So then the work schedule as well, and so it's a bustle. It's a grind, but it's a labor of love, and I'm excited for it. Definitely am. I think this year's event is going to be exciting to watch, with the medical testing, the personality testing, and the ability to have prospects, 300 400 prospects, have that, because there's only so many spots at the combine. And with the influx of prospects this year, all the information that you can get on a prospect, I mean, for these prospects to take advantage of that, that's huge right now.
Yeah, and my last question for you was going to kind of be a closing statement about some of the partnerships that CGS is a part of, and you kind of mentioned it there a little bit. DEXA scan, we're talking about TAPS test for the psychological side of everything. Reisner, yep. So I think we kind of covered that a little bit, but I'm going to ask you just before I get on to the second segment. And again, thank you so much for your time. Yep. Is there anything closing that you want to kind of leave the people with, players out there that are prospective players that may eventually choose the game? Like what are some things that you're excited about? Some of the partnerships, if you want to mention them, like what is kind of just the overlying last message you want to leave the
Absolutely. So, and we touched on it. The medical testing aspect is absolutely huge. The personality with Riser testing and all that. We had a Wonderlic at our event last year. I have to double check if a team is going to host that again for us. Then tracking football is huge. The data we gain from Mark and his team is absolutely huge in our evaluation process, and they've been working with NFL teams as well. If you have any questions, agents, coaches, players, please reach out to me on social media. I'd be happy to talk with you. Our selection process is still ongoing. I know we're only in November. It's a long process. We have till January 7th, January 8th of the event. We're still evaluating prospects, and it's an ongoing process, and we're excited about it.
Again, here joined by Michael Riddleman, the Director of Scouting and Player Personnel for the College Gridiron Showcase. Mike, appreciate you hopping on. If you are listening live, the next segment will be tonight, where I'll be taking some mailbag questions for the NFL Draft next on Mavs Sports Day.